Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendrix, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to be part of the show, you can do so via the text line at 447-8500. Well, at 260-447-8500. Once again, 260-447-8500. Welcome to 2025. DC Hendrix, welcome. How was your Christmas?
The one and only Jim Shovlin. I had a great holidays. Got a chance to kick back with the family. Took some time off from the main job. Had some time off from here, thanks to you. Was able to, just enjoy time with the family. I think that's something to cherish, especially in this day and age where everyone has like 20 different jobs in order to pay the bills. So it's good to be able to take a break sometimes and just enjoy family. Yeah,
and I did the same. We had a little, gathering of some family, etc., on Christmas Eve at the house, and then my mother-in-law was here from the 20th through the 27th. Came up from Florida.
Nice.
And escaped here.
Came up from Florida. Wow.
Yeah, she does. She sacrifices every year to come up this direction.
Definitely a sacrifice.
Yeah, and always in hopes of seeing a white Christmas.
Right.
But anyway.
Did you get your socks?
Did I get my socks?
Did you get your socks that you asked for?
No.
Oh, man. No. All right, I'm going to have to get you some. I'm getting you some after the show.
Yeah. Anyway.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What did I get? I got a walking stick. I went to a Bishop Dwenger class of 76, kind of a dinner, and they had me kind of MC the gift exchange.
Okay.
And for doing that, the organizer, Jeannie, bestowed upon me a hand-carved walking stick that she painted herself.
Jeez.
And it was awesome. And so you should have seen me swagger out of there with that thing.
I was going to say, get a little swag there.
You betcha. Yeah.
Shoveling with the swag. That's a good gift. I like that.
That was different. Yeah. And so, we had a great Christmas, and now here we are, ready for 2025.
That's right.
And, I made a post on social media yesterday that as of yesterday, pitchers and catchers report in 40 days.
Woo! There we go.
And the New York Mets are
baseball. I'm ready.
Enjoying the pitchers and catchers on the 12th of February. Most will start on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But, and boy, I tell you what, got a lot of response on that, too, as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are with me as well. But
yeah, football season's, not dying, but it's like towards the end of football season in both college football and in the NFL, starting to get there. And nobody's watching the NBA. So definitely looking forward to the baseball season rolling around.
Well, and what I'm wondering, too, with the football season being elongated in its postseason schedule, and Notre Dame part of this, what are the IU basketball fans, Notre Dame football fans going to do, with primary allegiance? Are they...
True.
So, and how I love that concept.
Yeah. There's only one person that fits in that category that I love, and that's Justin Kinney.
Otherwise he'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So
nobody's perfect. So that's his one.
That's his one little.
Yeah.
It's not even a flaw, I guess, but it's just, maybe it's because I've been all Notre Dame throughout.
You have. We went head to head. I think when we made our predictions, looking ahead to the playoffs, I think you were still all Notre Dame. I was on the IU bandwagon, which obviously fell pretty short along with everyone else.
Yeah. And then watching the Fighting Irish with everything that went on in New Orleans and the Sugar Bowl postponement for for almost 24 hours, and the way the Irish came out, and led by Marcus Freeman. Holy cow.
Yep.
But we're going to talk to the Judge Phil Houk a little bit later on in the show, at the bottom of the hour. In fact, we're going to talk to him. He was there, of course, and we're going to get his take on the experience down there, and plus what to expect from the Penn State Nittany Lions as we go forward into the Orange Bowl Thursday night. So that should be an interesting time, and so we'll talk to the Judge Phil Houk there. But before we do that, we're going to talk to Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. And then we're going to end the show with Mr. Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. Cays and Toledo Walleye went at it last night at the Coliseum. Cays had a 2-0 lead, 3-1 lead, and then we're beaten by the Walleye 4-3. So Anthony Petrozelli, a couple of goals. Jack Dugan lit the lamp as well. So, but the Komets are 9 points behind the Walleye right now in the standings, but they have 4 games in hand on Toledo. So, and they play tonight. So we'll talk to Shane all about that as we go forward. So it's going to be.
Yeah, the Walleye have been killing it lately. I mean, 7-2-1 in the last 10 games.
Yeah. Yeah,
they winning streak, top of the division.
At first,
the conference.
At first in the conference, there was really no separation, and now Toledo just says, "Up, hang on a second. We're gonna separate a little bit." But the Komets, I've been able to watch them in person several times already this season, and I mean the goaltending is very good with Connor Unger. And
I went to my first New Year's Eve game. For the first time in a long time. Like I went the first couple years, so I started at the station in 2014, and I went 2014, I went 2015, and I went 2016, and this year was the first year I've been back since 2016 for New Year's Eve game. My goodness, that is one crowd. Like I didn't understand how big of a deal that was, or at least I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I just forgot how big of a deal that is in the city of Fort Wayne here in the Summit City, but definitely I think that is like a staple of the city to go to the Komets game for New Year's Eve.
It's almost like Thanksgiving night.
Thanksgiving
is also another one that's big traditionally for a lot of fans, and now to have it affiliated with Bob Chase.
Yes.
And Bob Chase, Thanksgiving was his favorite holiday, because he got together with family, and then he got to take the short trip from his home to the Coliseum and call a Komet game on Thanksgiving night. 2 of his favorite things, family and Komets. So that has become, and the Komets have done a great job with all of that as well. But once again, 260-447-8500 is the text line if you want to weigh in on things. And then, of course, as we said, the Komets in Walleye went at it. Komets are only going to be home, including tomorrow against Cincinnati, I think 3 more times in the month of January. Of course, the Coliseum schedule gets very hectic with all kinds of events going on. So the Komets will be hitting the road. They're going to take some longer trips. I believe they're at Tulsa, and I don't have a schedule in front of me, but they're going to be doing that, and so it'll be interesting to see. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else I did over this long. Last Saturday stunk for me. My goodness, that was our day off.
Oh, that's why.
Oh my gosh,
you actually got to enjoy a day of retirement.
I didn't know what to do. I got up Saturday morning, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I don't have to set my alarm. But I woke up at exactly the same time. So, yes, I am a senior now. My body just gets up and says, Jim, it's time.
It's time to get up.
So I got up and, just goofed around a little bit. And now what do I do? So, I mean, from that perspective, I think the show is going to stick around a little longer because
right.
I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing the show. So
it's got to be a good vacation, though. If the worst part about it is you got to actually enjoy a day of retirement for once.
That's
a good problem to have.
And people ask me all the time now, hey, how's that retirement going? Yeah, at times it's great.
Yeah.
It's at times when it's snowy in the morning and I don't have to get up and leave the house and go to work.
Right.
I can just sit there with a cup of coffee, look out the window, and watch all the younger people do that. But still, oh my goodness, I get bored out of my head. Let's say between the hours of 8 and 5. Now I still do. I do PA for Indiana Tech women's and men's basketball. That keeps me busy. I've been doing PA for University of St. Francis football for the last 15 seasons, and hopefully I love doing that. And then I do the Real Men Read program through Big Brothers Big Sisters of Fort Wayne, or through Fort Wayne, Northeast Indiana, I should say. But, I mean, it's, it keeps me busy at times. But, oh, my goodness. Like I said, I sit in my recliner in the den, and my little Chihuahua Ziva jumps up on my lap. She falls asleep, or we sit and we watch Cops on Pluto.
There you go.
So, which isn't bad. I did that before, but now I can pretty much, I know the codes and everything now. So
that's right.
But yeah,
I didn't do a whole lot either. I guess I got something later tonight. I'm supposed to be going to the Pacers game tonight. So
okay, that'll
be the beginning of my 2025 festivities.
And they are playing your beloved
Phoenix Suns.
That's right.
So this is the only problem with me going to NBA games, and that's why I said supposed to be going. Like you gotta these days when you get an NBA ticket, you literally have to watch the injury report. It's like
true.
You get
or the I don't want to play here anymore report.
Or that, yeah, Jimmy Butler. It's like you gotta look at the injury report before you even go to a game these days. It's like you get these tickets, to go see Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or Victor Wembanyama or Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you're halfway down to Indianapolis going to the game, and all of a sudden you get a Twitter or an ESPN app update saying, "Oh, Giannis is out today, will not play, soreness," and it's like. Yeah, well, glad I bought these tickets to come see you, and you're not even playing. Like, you have no idea, Chevy, how many times this happened. I'm, cursed at this point. So that's why I said supposed to be going to Suns Pacers before the snowstorm hits.
Well, I think the last non-Pacers game at Gamebridge I've gone to was down in Memphis. My son and I were coming back from Jackson, Mississippi. Went to a banquet down there. And as we came back, he said, we're going right through Memphis. Let's go to a game. And so we did, and he got us the tickets, decent tickets. It was Memphis and the Dallas Mavericks.
Nice.
This was early in November a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it also was John Konchar's very first NBA appearance.
Nice.
So I was there in the arena in Memphis for that. And, of course, before that, we went to Beale Street, and that was incredible.
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh my goodness. Whew. Anyway, we'll talk during the break. But hey, before we go to break, I want to tell you about my friends at Culligan. You drink bottled water. If you do, call this number 260. There we go. 484-8668. I'm sorry. 260-484-86 in our system that you are going to want to investigate. Bottled water quality right at your kitchen sink. You turn on your cold water, you push this button. It looks like the easy button that they provide for you, and your pressure changes just ever so slightly. But that is your pristine drinking water right out of your tap. Regardless of what you have as far as the kind of water you have, they will have the filters there. Believe me, it will save lugging cases of bottled water around. You can buy or you can rent this system. But give Culligan a call, 260-484-8668. That's 260-484-8668. Give your people Pelican Water. We'll be back with Mike McCaffrey. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
I think it's understood that everybody looks a little bit finer when you dress in designer fashions from Christopher James Menswear. Maybe you've been a little cautious because you're concerned about the price. This is for you. It's time to celebrate the new year with a huge winter sale. Right now, all fall and winter merchandise is 40 to 50% off. For best selection and size availability, don't delay. Get to Christopher James Menswear in Covington Plaza.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. And when you don't have electricity, radio in the car is often your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking. By you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. In recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
We're not antisocial, so no need to be shy. Interact with 1380 The Fan on social media at 1380 The Fan on Twitter/X, Facebook.com/1380 The Fan, or on the gram at Instagram.com/1380 The Fan. Plus, go to 1380thefan.com for Indiana Sports Beat and Brett Rump's social media info and start the conversation today. Only on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Today, young adults face big questions about their future. How will you make your mark? Do you want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Are you ready to learn new skills and make new friendships? Perhaps you have a dream that you're ready to make real. So, how will you make a mark with your future? As you embark on a journey toward finding these answers, the military can serve as a resource for providing help, information, and opportunities. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit today'smilitary.com.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendrix, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. It's easy to get a hold of us and be part of the show. Do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. Especially if you got a question regarding, the University of St. Francis athletics, because on the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is USF Athletic Director Mike McCaffrey. Mike, Happy New Year, sir.
Good morning, Jimmy. Happy 2025 to you, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Every year that clicks off the calendar, I'm still on a roster. Okay. So we're loving that. All kinds of things going on at the University of St. Francis. But first, let's talk about some individual honors that have been bestowed recently. And this is one, the last time we chatted, we talked about Marquise Cross and of the Cougar football team. And he ends up being second-team All-American. And then we have a couple of lady basketball players that were bestowed honors as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Marquise, who I think last time we were on, we were talking about NAIA All-Americans, and he did receive NAIA first-team All-American, and then they released Victory Sports Network, which is a website that's run by a guy who follows the NAIA really, really close, and Marquise got named second-team All-American on the Victory Sports Network. He was a finalist for the Cliff Harris Award, which is the best defensive player in small college football. Did not receive that award, but he was a finalist for it, but then got recognized with his second All-American from Victory Sports Network. So just, again, continuing a great season for Marquise after being the MSFA Defensive Player of the Year. You just see the nation take notice, and he's got one more year. We're going to try to see if we can get him back for one more. He's got one more to play, but he will graduate, so we're working with him right now to see if that's an opportunity for him to come back, which would be great for our defense. But if not, we obviously wish him the best on wherever it might take him, but that's the conversation Coach and him are going to have here over the break and into the spring. But, proud of Marquise and just the way he led our defense. You know, you lead the nation in forced fumbles, and he was a part of that as well as our linebackers. So just a great job by Coach Jensen to coach up those guys, and Marquise took it and took it to another level. So it's great to see. And then this past week we had Isabella Gizzi and Cassidy Crawford were the offensive and defensive players of the week for women's basketball in the Crossroads League. So went up and got a good win against Rochester Christian over the break on last Sunday, I believe it was. And so they had their last non-conference game. Was obviously a good one. We're sitting at 14-0 and trying to make sure that we can hold home court today and have a big battle of two 14-0 teams over in Hutzel at 1 o'clock today.
Yes, indeed. Indiana Wesleyan comes a-calling to the Hutzel Center, and it's going to be a women's-men's doubleheader at 1 o'clock and approximately 3. And, even though the records are 14-0 on the women's side, throw out the records because this is a rivalry that that is on par with just about any around.
Yeah, I mean, you go back over the last, 10 or 11 years and back to when our women's team went 38-0 back in 2014, and Indiana Wesleyan came back and got one, I think, the next year, and their men got it in 2014. And so it's been kind of us and them at the national tournament, and then Marion had had success throughout the same time on the women's side. But, it's you know what you're going to get when you bring Indiana Wesleyan to town, and not surprised that they're 14-0, but they're talented. But I think this is the one our teams have been waiting for. We obviously had a couple tough games with Indiana Tech and Mid-American Nazarene, and then a home game against Huntington, who can score some points, and shut that down pretty well in the second half. So it's if we can defend like we have the last few games on the women's side, then we're going to be in the game. We've got shooters who can fill it up when we keep it close. But our defense, led by Isabella Gizzi, who generally guards their best player, she's going to be on probably one of the best players in the country today. And if she can do her job and free up some of her teammates to get loose and get some shots, then we've got a shot to win this one. But it'll be it's a big one. You got number 2 versus number 11. They haven't put out any rankings since the break, so we're still sitting at 11 and they're at 2. And it's everything you ask for a cold Saturday in December.
That's true. We're talking this morning with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. And we are on the cusp of spring sports getting started in earnest now at this time of the year for collegiate sports. And give us a little overview on what we can expect from the spring sports.
Well, you've got the story that we're going to try to finish with our USF baseball team, who made their first postseason last year, and bring back a lot. We've lost a little bit, but feel like Coach Butcher's reloaded a little bit. It's just you look around the conference and then everybody reloads. So we kind of caught lightning in a bottle last year in the tournament, where we made it to the championship game and earned that second automatic bid from our conference. And you'd love to say we're just going to go win the conference this year and take that out of it, but you've got Taylor and Wesleyan and Huntington right there saying the same thing. And Taylor's got some really good players, and Wesleyan retooled, and Huntington's got maybe the best top 3 pitchers in the country. So it's going to be a battle, but I know Coach Butcher's excited about some of the young guys who didn't get a chance last year that are going to get a chance to throw this year, and then bring in a transfer or 2 that we did over the course of the summer. I got one coming in at the break here. I don't know that he's going to be able to play this spring, but just trying to, add arms, add bodies, add kids that buy into what Coach Butcher's doing. And they're going to have, obviously, the most kind of excitement heading into the spring. But Coach Bolin and the softball team certainly watched what our baseball team did last year, and they've got the itch now. I was, with them. We went up to play Notre Dame this past fall and played a couple games up there. And they're hungry. They're talented. If we can stay healthy, if we can keep our pitchers healthy, which has generally been the challenge on the softball side. You get one pitcher that goes down with an injury, and all of a sudden that shakes up everything, because, as you know, you can pitch several times in softball as opposed to baseball. So if you could get 2 or 3 pitchers, then you're in really good shape, and we've got 2 or 3 right now. We just need to keep them healthy. So it'll be fun to watch both of those teams get after it. And then, obviously, we've got outdoor track and field, where we've qualified several people the last few years, and Coach Moody's got some distance runners and some relay teams that we hope will qualify again. Lost Joe Painter, our big pole vaulter, so we've got some replacing to do there. But it's going to be a fun spring. But we've got about a month or so before they head south and play any games. And right now they'll be hitting in cages and fielding ground balls in the gym for the next month or so.
Oh yeah, even high school baseball starts the voluntary workouts probably within the next couple of weeks. So, it's on the horizon, that's for sure. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is a big one out at the Hutzel Center this afternoon, starting at 1 o'clock. As you said, the number 2 Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats facing the Cougars women, who are number 11, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, should be a dandy, followed by a very good Cougar men's team taking on a nationally ranked Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats men's team at 3 or approximately. So get on out there to the Hutzel Center and watch some great basketball, Crossroads League style, because that is one of the most competitive conferences I've ever seen in my life, bar none.
You ain't lying, my friend. It's a battle every night, and nothing better than to start off 2025 with a couple ranked opponents in town. So
that's right.
We're gonna go give it our best shot. And appreciate you as always, my friend.
All right, thank you, Mike. Take care. That was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. And this will be an epic battle today. And by the way, I for the Indiana Tech women's and men's doubleheader against Aquinas, with the women starting at 1 o'clock. Tex Taylor Covington was the athlete of the week again in the NAIA, and just tearing it up. And Genevieve Decker, as they were victorious over the break on the 30th, double-double, 14 points, 14 boards. And just it's a different person, it seems like, every night that comes up for the Warriors. And of course, the Indiana Tech men's team with guys like Crew Gibson and Javon Lewis and guys like that, Lucas Liskey, etc. Jackson Fugate, who's coming in as a true freshman out of Northside High School, and he's contributing mightily. It's just fun to watch him, and he gets better every single game, and he is going to be a big contributor before it's all done in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. So get on out. If you can't make it to the Hutzel Center, get over to the Schaefer Center. There's going to be great basketball played all day today. On a what else are you going to do on a cold winter day, right? And watch little hoops. I mean, come on. Komets are out of town tonight. They're in Toledo. So, hey, this will give you something to do this afternoon. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to the Judge Phil Houk, his experience in New Orleans here before the Sugar Bowl. We'll talk about that and the Sugar Bowl as well in the aftermath of that. We'll talk to Judge about all of that stuff when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. If you looked at your auto or homeowner's insurance rate lately, think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team today at 260-747-5373 or find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the best glass company of them all?
I'm the Magic Mirror, and the answer to your question is a simple one, you see. When it comes to specialty glass, call City Glass Specialty. The area's choice for custom glass, including shower doors, mirrors, and custom framing since 1944.
So, Magic Mirror, how do I reach them?
Visit cityglassspecialty.com. or call 260-744-3301 today.
The Magic Mirror is right. City Glass is the best glass company of them all. If you're looking for a new shower or tub enclosure, City Glass has framed or frameless to offer the ideal solution for your remodeling project. You can choose from a wide variety of glass designs with matching hardware, and they can custom create a mirror to complete the unique look of your interior design. Located on Calhoun Street, 3 blocks south of the Oyster Bar, City Glass Specialty specializes in matching products to your bathroom remodel vision.
As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been helping people live longer and more independent lives.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. Learn more at MDA.org.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. In their car, at home, or on the job, more than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
If you served honorably in our nation's armed forces and you're looking for a way to continue serving your fellow veterans in your community, then join AMVETS. Each year, AMVETS members volunteer millions of hours at VA healthcare facilities from coast to coast, helping to improve the lives of their fellow veterans through the VA Voluntary Services Program. AMVETS posts and departments also participate in a wide variety of community service projects, ranging from Americanism in our schools to supporting the Special Olympics and Boy Scouts of America. If you no longer wear the uniform today, you can still serve through the AMVETS by joining today at amvets.org.
Everyone can help keep our roads safe. When I'm making a wide turn in my bus, I'll remember to be careful. Please give me plenty of space to finish my turn before you drive ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Everyone can help keep our roads safe. When I'm driving my truck, I'll remember to check my mirrors for smaller vehicles. And when you're on the road, try to avoid lingering in my blind spots. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Know a veteran who needs help? Nation's Finest provides supportive services to veterans and their families who are struggling with housing-related costs. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Oh, man, this is one of my favorite bands of the 70s, Thin Lizzy. The boys are back in town. Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendrix, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts till the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you have a question, comment, suggestion, etc., do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500, and we'll take a look at it and see if we can get it home for you. But let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line, because waiting patiently on that Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is none other than half of Fighting Irish Preview, along with America's foremost authority on Notre Dame Fighting Irish football, Tim Priester. It's the judge, Phil Houk. Phil, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jim. And, as I was leaving, you really triggered something in me, because as I was leaving New Orleans yesterday, walking, I saw somebody wearing a Thin Lizzy's T-shirt. So they're a Dublin band, I believe. Aren't they Irish?
Yeah, and then Phil Lynott was the lead, and they had a couple albums before Phil passed away, and back in the 70s, the boys are back in town. Jailbreak, anyway.
Good band. Band. Yeah, and it's been it's a whirlwind for those of us covering Notre Dame football, and it's a dream in some ways. We are on a mission, and I got back after midnight last night, and here I am, and I got to turn it around, and I'll be heading down to Miami in 3 days. So
my goodness,
here we go. Let's go.
Well, Phil, this is obviously a trip that you will never forget. For reasons of elation and reasons of tragic occurrences. And give us a little bit of a timeline of when you arrived in New Orleans and then what unfolded in front of you.
Yeah, I got in on, I got in the day before New Year's Eve, and I got in the evening on I guess that would be the 30th. And then the 31st, we had press conferences. That's the main day you want to be there. You don't want to miss that, because you get the coaches, and there's a big production around that. So we had both coaches on the 31st, did some things, and then we were, as the media, the hay's in the barn at that point, as they say, and there's not a lot for us to do. So it's like, okay, it's New Year's Eve. We're in New Orleans. I was out on Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve, and I was in, although, I guess there are some benefits to being seniors like you and me, Jim, because there was no way that I was going to be out too late. Unfortunately, I was. But so I'm the media hotel was 0.2 of a mile from the intersection of Canal and Bourbon Street, where this terrible act of terrorism occurred. And I woke about planning to sleep in that day, because we knew that the game day was going to be very late. Mm-hmm. We'd be working into the early morning hours. So, the hope with most of the media was, maybe sleep until like 8:30 maybe, something like that. And, but no, it wasn't to be. The phone starts really going off, and everybody's trying to get a hold of me early. We're an hour earlier out there, out a little bit west where New Orleans is. And my wife got a hold of me first, and she was a bit frantic, frankly. She said she'd been trying to get a hold of me for several minutes at least, and told me the news. I didn't know anything about it. Well, all I had to do was walk over to my window up on the 16th floor of the hotel, and I looked straight down almost two blocks and could see the intersection where this occurred. And it's just full of, obviously police cars, police tape. By that time, I think the ambulances had cleared. But so that's about 8 o'clock, which is really about 5 o'clock, or I would say 5 hours after this occurred. The whole thing is very surreal. Our emotions went from extreme exhilaration, which is what you'd feel on New Year's Eve in New Orleans. Big game atmosphere. I've covered some really big games. I've been really privileged to do that. This probably was as big as any, if not the biggest, that I was going to cover. And, the fans are in a very festive atmosphere. And then to see the depth of anger, sadness that you went to really quickly. And then from a media standpoint and wondering what we were going to do, not knowing that sense of, we've got a business to run here. And then, are they going to play the game? When's the game going to be played? And all that played out over the next 4 or 5 hours. And just a pall was cast, a cloud over the entire city. It was obvious in everyone that you would meet, very subdued. But people were being supportive. You could see that almost immediately, more supportive than they normally would have been in that situation. It was a little bit, hey, are you okay? To complete strangers, and you're going to be all right. God bless you. Be safe. Those sorts of things became very common over the next few hours. I was able to get down and do a video with my crew down right at the scene, within 100 feet of the scene, and it was an emotional experience. And then to finally get through that day, and then go and actually do a game, heightened security, not surprisingly, as strong, as heavy a security as I'd ever seen. It was very visible. It was more visible than usual. There's always security at these big events. And then it was just an unbelievable football game from a perspective of anybody that's a fan, but then, of course, from Notre Dame's perspective, they really took care of business.
Yes, we're talking this morning with the judge, Phil Houk. And, Phil, from that angle, people that watched the game saw, that this is 2 games in a row in the playoffs where Notre Dame proved to be the better team, obviously, first over IU and then over Georgia, and in doing some innovative things as well. But now, on to the semifinals. Penn State looms down at the Orange Bowl in Miami on Thursday night, and we're starting to run out of time here. But what can we expect from the Penn State Nittany Lions based on what we've seen of the Fighting Irish the last couple of games?
Well, in some way, Penn State is a lot like Notre Dame. Really, they lean a little bit on their defense, a little more than their offense. I don't think that's explosive, but they will also rely, like Notre Dame, on their running game. Mm-hmm. They got a game breaker at their defensive end, Abdul. He's hurt. What his status is not known at this time. And Penn State's got a couple extra days to prepare for this game and to heal up. That's a factor for Notre Dame. Key players, Jeremiah Love, Howard probably will be able to play. We'll find out later today. We have a press conference with Marcus Freeman. But if Notre Dame has been one thing this year that would define their entire season, they have been resilient, and they have been able to come back from injury. So it's a great matchup. Two blue bloods again. Notre Dame, Georgia was 2 blue blood programs. Notre Dame, Penn State, it doesn't get any more historical than those 2 teams as far as college football goes. It's really something look forward to. This tournament's really, really spectacular. What's going on, and gotta look forward to Thursday night.
Now, Phil, we had a text that came in, and we can finish out with that. It says, please ask the judge if all the wear and tear on the travel in such a physical game with Georgia, plus Penn State having 2 extra days of rest, will be a big advantage on Thursday night for them.
I think it is. It is an advantage, and we identified that very, very early on as we were sorting out all these schedule changes and so forth. And there was talk about maybe even moving back the Orange Bowl one day to try and mitigate that limitation. But, Marcus Freeman has got his team into a mindset where they embrace whatever is handed to them. It says, this is what you're handed to. And they have responded to every little nook and cranny and nuance of the scheduling and things like that. I don't think they'll flinch. The only question in my mind is it would be nice to have a couple extra days for Notre Dame to heal up before this matchup. And I wanted to say one last thing. I want to encourage people out there. I've been using the hashtag on all my stuff, and that is, pray for our country, pray for New Orleans. That community was shook to its core the other day, and it's a wonderful community, American through and through, and we need to be very supportive of what they're going through right now.
All right, well said, Phil. Phil, thank you. We'll be watching for your reports down in Miami, and go Irish.
FightingIrishPreview.com. Thanks, Jim. Always great to talk to you.
All right, that was Phil Houk, the judge from Fighting Irish Preview, of course. And we're going to quickly take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. We'll do that when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Rich Eisen here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join us all season long as we get you ready for primetime NFL action every Monday night. Along with Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, and the entire Westwood One team will take you inside the locker rooms and the stadiums for exclusive previews and all the play-by-play action. Every week on Monday Night Football.
On 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Or stream anywhere on your 1380 The Fan app.
Did you know that generic drugs are just as safe and effective as brand name drugs? Generics might look different, but they work the same way. And they can even save you money. Don't believe me? Ask your doctor or pharmacist. Or visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. That's DC Hendrix over there. I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking local sports of all sorts until 10 o'clock. If you'd like to be part of the show, do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. And we're going right to the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because sitting on there waiting patiently is one Mr. Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. A tough one last night, Shaner.
Yeah, I'm not sure how patient I'm going to be today after the last 2 games, but we'll make it through.
That's right. Yeah, well, I was able to be in attendance for the game against the Bison and watched the play-by-play and last night at home. But, the Komets, thank God for Anthony Petrozelli. I'm telling you, but my goodness, Toledo proved, they're now 9 points ahead of the K's in the standings in the Central Division's Western Conference of the Western Conference. But the Komets have 4 games in hand on the Walleye as the second place team. So as far as hitting the panic button, I don't think so yet.
Yeah, they've got a lot of room. It's just a shame we couldn't pick up any ground on them here the past 2 games. But the K's they're the walking wounded right now. There's no extra bodies. You've got 2 guys in the lineup that are essentially from the SPHL. And, you didn't have Alex Whitlakoff last night. And then other guys who I know are playing with injuries right now. You have a couple of rookies out there who hasn't played much. Michael Gilden, he was actually been seeing some ice time. He's picked up a couple goals, but just didn't play a whole lot last night. And Andre Bakanoff, a guy who we just picked up as well. So you had guys kind of new to the lineup. Guys are hurting. I think the Komets are doing as best as they can. These last 2 games obviously have been close. They've been to the very, very end.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's on the same page, but hopefully we're going to get reinforcements here soon. You got 3 guys up in the AHL, and I know that Coach Jesse's working the phones trying to get whoever they can to get into this lineup. And it's something that every team goes through. It just depends on what time of year you go through it. Right now, the Komets are going through it.
And, of course, and you mentioned Svetlakov. I mean, my goodness, I've been so impressed with his play all through this season. And it's almost like, you've got a bunch of little school kids that are out on a pond playing hockey in the middle of winter. And then here comes somebody's dad with a stick and some skates on. And, it's just almost a man amongst boys kind of a scenario. And it's fun watching him. But there again, as I said, for the K's, you have Pedrozelli stepped up a couple of goals, his 9th and 10th of the season. Jack Dugan puts the puck in the back of the net as well. But, it's just one of those things. Goaltending has been decent to excellent at times. So, I'm still, the outcome stinks, but they're playing heck of a lot better hockey than they've been playing in past years right now.
Yeah, no, this is even you look at how good this team is, even with a lot of missing parts. So, I mean, that tells you that once they get all the bodies back, how good they're going to be. So, it's just you said patience. It's a patient thing. Everyone has to be patient. Until we kind of fight through this. You're playing the Komets. The schedule makers weren't very kind to the Komets here at the end of December and to start the year. You had a 3-3, a very tough 3-3. 2 games against Indy that felt like playoff games, and they were the most physical games we played all season. And then you sandwich the game with a hungry Cincy team that's trying to get back into the standings, and then you go ahead and schedule what we always have, our New Year's Eve night. So by that time, the Komets were already gassed. You're playing 4 games in 5 nights, and then you only have 2 days off, and then you're throwing another 3 games in 3 nights against Toledo, 2 games against Toledo, another against Cincinnati. So, yeah, I mean, they're just it's a tired bunch there. So I hope we can get through this weekend. Hopefully we pick up a few more points, then we get a week off before we have to play our next game.
Yeah, and looking at the January schedule, a lot of road play. Of course, you got the game against Toledo in Toledo at the Huntington Center tonight, and then home to the Cyclones tomorrow. But then just 2 games on the 17th and 18th on Coliseum ice. Other than that, they'll be on the road, which, I mean, they've fared decently on the road thus far this year. But still, it's going to be a lot of travel for them, and we'll see what transpires. But yeah, it'd be nice to get some of the walking wounded back.
Yeah, it's just a matter of just letting the guys get some rest. And, we're going to have a whole week off. We're going to go to Tulsa for 2 games and Wichita, which will be tough, going outside of the division. And then we're going to play a really good Tahoe team out there at the end of the month. So it's going to be fun. But again, hopefully in the next week or 2, we can get some guys back and get this team back to firing like it was before. When we won 7 out of 8. So that was just a week ago. So we'll see how fast things turn. I mean, this team is very talented still, even with the missing parts. And goaltending has been great, and getting them on the road, I think, will also help because the guys, I think we're now finally even up same wins, 9 wins at home, 9 wins on the road. But the Komets have been better on the road this season. I think it's just a matter of, they're not playing as tight. They can go out there, they can be a little loose. They're not trying to, impress the fans and get them all charged up. So I'm looking forward to getting back on the road because we played a lot of home games on top of each other to finish up December.
Well, Shane, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
All right, that was Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets in our weekly Komet Chat. And that's going to do it for Talkin Sports, the first edition of 2025. Many thanks to Mike McCaffrey, Athletic Director at the University of St. Francis, for joining us. Also, the Judge Phil Houk of Fighting Irish Preview for checking in with us as well. And, of course, Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets. Special thanks, of course, as always, to DC Hendrix for keeping it all so smooth. Thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in each and every Saturday morning. And until next week, have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.